Good morning, pregame crew. How are y'all doing? Good morning, Night Truck and Rob, Wave, Blue Dog, Dino, Mary, Gareth, Timothy, Chris. You're welcome, Chris. You're in your 5th year of trading, and I've helped you with the fishing pole setups. Awesome. And Gareth, welcome. Hey, Rosemary. My girl, Tammy, my cheerleader, my friend. Hey, Topher, Ian, Matt, Matthew, Greg. Good morning. How are y'all? My thoughts and just not well wishes, but condolences are with the BA crash victims overnight in China. What a horrific tragedy. So I can't stand waking up to that stuff. Well, thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it. Hi, Mara Asia. You're back from Mexico. Okay, we can get the party started. I'm going to Mexico next weekend. We'll have a couple days with no pregame show, and I'll definitely tell you ahead of time. And I'll tweet it out if you don't follow me on Twitter. You might want to. You'll get some information about when I will, next week, I believe it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there will be no pregame show. And I'm Chart Gal Lori on Twitter. If you go give me a follow. Interesting night overnight. 4-hour bull flags. Potential. Oh, Brent. Oh, my heart is with you, Brent. Brent is in Ukraine. Oh, this makes me pause for a second. I'm going to have to gather myself to do this show right without crying. Matthew, the metals don't always have an inverse relationship with the stock market. It's not always like that. Sometimes they can go in the same direction. So it's definitely not an inverse relationship all the time. However, sometimes gold will spike when the market's going down. If people perceive as though they need to hedge against the market, they will buy gold. Good morning, Jessica, up in northern Idaho. Hey, Jorge. You're ready for the week, Jorge? Awesome. Anybody have there's a chart request, BTU. That's uranium, right? Looks like a little bit of a 4-hour rising wedge. Let me kind of... The monthly chart is getting an upper wick of profit taking. Of course, we got 2 weeks left in this month. We're looking for a weekly high or low, and typically you can look for a weekly high or low at 4-hour oversold. We haven't gotten there yet. You're approaching key resistance of 2270. We hit 2278, and after hours, I would still consider that a double top. After that level, 2408, your resistance. And again, I would look for these potential tiny higher highs, a lot of follow through for a potential 4-hour rising wedge. If you're in this long, you can make a simple statement that I will stay in long as long as the hourly EMAs are below price and candles are closing above those hourly EMAs. I will stay in long. Definitely had some sideways action on Thursday, Friday. Key support 2106 and 2107 double bottom. Who approved this time off? Nobody, MG, nobody. DG. I need it though. Going to Cabo, and I'm so excited. Okay, Dollar General, that's a pretty move with hourly EMAs being very supportive along with 4-hour EMAs. 4-hour RSI is definitely overbought. This is an absolutely beautiful move on the weekly, but odds favor when you pull back this much on the weekly. Let me change this color. When you pull back from a higher high to a lower low with this larger percentage and have this beautiful bounce, that typically you're still going to end up with a lower high just because of the percentage that the bulls are having to travel. On the daily, we are overbought. So again, beautiful chart, beautiful move. Odds favor a weekly lower high, so bears will be looking to top fish. What is a level? 22939, we got through that. Next level, it'd be better if we had a level to top fish, and I guess we have this congestion over here at 231.73. That could be an area to possibly top fish because price has memory. You may want to look at that area. A Neo I have on my list. Team MSOS. Okay. You know what, Matthew? I am not an expert on the yield curve inverting, but by any means, that's not my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is definitely technical analysis, and I dabble in a little bit of macroeconomics just to kind of help get the lay of the land, but I won't will not claim to be a treasury yield expert, but I do know that the US 10-year and 2-year are just rapidly moving, and I don't know how that could bode well for the stock market. So MSOS, beautiful bounce, and the bulls have enough room now for a higher low on any pullback. Hourly RSI overbought, 4-hour RSI approaching overbought. You have a little pesky resistance here at 2090, right here. That could be a top fish level, but I would just let the bulls have it as long as they're in control. 15-minute EMAs are supportive. 5-minute EMAs are supportive. I think we're approaching a top fish on MSOS, but if you're in long, all you do is just keep moving your stop up. You don't say, oh, we're extended, I'm going to sell. You could always, of course, scale out a bit, a third maybe, but I would just stay in as long, and just pick your time frame. Is it 15-minute? Is it hourly? As long as these EMAs are below, I'm staying in. Okay, tan. We'll look at tan, and then in just a second, so in a minute and a half, I'm going to start with the indices, commodities, crypto, movers and shakers of the day. I ripped through about 25 charts in 25 minutes. I show you my notes. TCG members, I'll give you my notes over in the chat room when I'm done. So let me look at tan for you. Really sideways day on Friday. This just looks like a head and shoulders pattern. Of course, this right side's a lot higher than this left side, which is giving the bulls a little bit of hope, but a top fish of 77.81 is the logical trade here for me. I'm constantly looking at risk to reward. Where is price? Is price in a higher probability pocket or a lower probability pocket? Up here near 77.81 and then 79.25, we are in a higher probability of failure because of this extension. So I'm going to be looking short. Doesn't mean I'm going to step in front of the bull train, but it's just a higher probability trade. It's kind of like having with your poker cards, which this is a terrible example because I don't know how to play poker very well, so I probably should stay away from these examples. But if you have 2 2s and the person to the right of you has 2 aces, I mean, the probability is in favor of those aces. So I'm always going to go for the pocket aces, I guess is what you call them. I'm going to go for those. I'm always looking for the higher probability setup. And when y'all ask me about names, I try to put myself in your shoes. What are you looking at? Are you most likely looking for a top fish or a bottom fish? And then I try to play devil's advocate as to would that work? Would that not work? I'm not always saying your ideas are bad, but I think that's my job, is to poke holes in the technical analysis argument. Yeah, hit that like button, please. All right, it's 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Let's get started. Welcome to the pregame show. I'm Chart Gal Lori. I'm part of the Chart Guys community, and we teach technical analysis. And what I do here is go over commodities, crypto, and indices and movers and shakers of the day, try to get you ready for the trading day. And I just want to be clear, I cannot give the amount of disclaimers that are needed every morning on the show. It would take away so much time from the content. I can't do it properly. But as always, when I get started with my day, I'm bringing you the higher probability setups that I see at the time with the data that I have. When I turn off my microphone, more data enters the market and the setup could change. So as always, approach all of these setups with your own reservations. You play devil's advocate with me and poke holes in the setup and say, wait, I don't see that. I don't see what Lori sees. Look at it yourself from your own perspective and your own trading style. Use stop losses and recognize when market conditions change. So it's 8:30 a.m. Eastern. At 9:30 a.m. Eastern, when the market opens an hour from now, things could be drastically different. So you have to factor in that new data into your trading plan for the day. So again, I can't go through all the disclaimers every day, but I have to do it at least once a week to remind you that this is very limited data analysis, because as soon as I shut off, we get more data. So if you could hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notify button. Let's look at ES 4-hour. We have potential bull flags on the table. We are extended. We are overbought. A little bit of a head and shoulders here in the RSI. However, EMAs are very supportive. No issues here. Hourly EMAs, very supportive. And again, you can make a simple statement. Say, okay, Lori has, I don't know what the number is, but let's say 10 setups today. And 4 are bearish and 6 are bullish. So if the market loses the hourly EMAs and price candle closes below the hourly EMAs, whatever yours are, 12 and 26, mine are 8 and 21, then I will only look at the short setups. If we continue to hold these hourly EMAs and confirm this 4-hour bull flag, I will only tackle those bull setups. So you have to bifurcate what the setups are, bull and bear, and it's typically best to go with the market. So if the market's going up, then try to trade the bullish charts bullishly. If we're going down, trade the bearish charts bearishly. It will keep you out of trouble more often than not. And speaking of the EMAs, 8 and 21, if you're interested in my chart setup, it is in the link below in the video description, and it explains what all my colorful lines are. And then here's some slang that we use, Queen of the Mountain and Ninjas Only, if you want to know what that means. Let's look at Hang Seng. I haven't looked at it in a couple hours. So Hang Seng is down not quite 1%, and the DAX is somewhat flat. So overnight, the China names are getting a ton of volume. So again, China names are in focus, and if you want that volatility, and it, of course, in both directions, you could be focusing on those China names, just lots and lots of volatility. And I'll just throw this out. This was one of my names earlier this morning. I had it all marked up, and I had to take it off because they had news this morning, PDD. They had news that they had an increase in subscribers year over year from 713 million to 770 million or something like that. So I took it off with that bullish news, but I thought it was a pretty clear top fish, but I don't like top fishing names with bullish news. But however, Didi, Baba, Neo, all the normal players are all up there in high volume names this morning. So going back to ES, your support is 443075 on the 4-hour, and we could bobble below that and still have a potential of a bull flag. But bulls want to see this confirm more likely than not. And I must say I have a slight bearish lean on the day just because of the extension into resistance. It doesn't mean that we're going to pull back. We do have a resistance over here of 4484, and actually from the 4-hour chart, this 4468, which was a prior resistance, I want to remind you of that level. We came within $5 of that this morning. So 4468, 448450 are your resistances. And when we look at ES on the weekly, and the monthly, I should say, we're looking for a lower high compared to 4808. And where that monthly lower high gets put in, we don't know. But right now, despite my slight bearish lean into the morning, bulls are large and in charge. They have been in charge for a few days. We've had a massive bounce. So bears entering the market could also just we could put more pressure on those bears and have more short covering. So a lot of money entered the market last week. Like, I think it was 25 billion. Like, am I a Valley girl? About 25 billion entered the market. I think Goldman Sachs reported. So that's a lot of money that entered the market. And I don't know that the bulls are just going to roll over very easily if they're going to defend those positions. And defend those positions by meaning they could possibly buy more of it if it were to dip down to those levels in which they entered. NASDAQ with a potential 4-hour bull flag. Let me go back to my notes. QQQ dividend today to be aware of, which means I will not be using the QQQ chart. Let me take that off right now. I will just be using the futures chart today. The dividends have messed up SPY Friday, QQQ today, and your moving averages are going to be off. Jerome Powell speaks at a conference today at noon, something to be aware of. We have those potential 4-hour bull flags on our Fab 4 futures. However, YM Dow names are a bit heavier due to Boeing and the crash. So Boeing had a crash last night, 132 lives were lost. It was the Boeing 737, not the 737 MAX. Not that I think that matters at all to the chart itself, but I am looking to short BA on bounces. I've already shorted partial this morning. So I am looking short Boeing on any bounce. US 10 years and a 4-hour EQ. I would say this is the biggest news of the morning. If we're going to have something that stands out, okay, no more EQ. We just broke bull. This is making me bearish on the market. This is the chart that has my attention, and it's saying don't get overly bullish today with the US 10-year charging higher. And if you've been around these parts since I think I started covering it in November. Yeah, so last time we did this, I moved this up every time. So since September 1, the US 2-year Treasury bond has gone up, and I may be saying, well, yeah, it is a bond, has gone up 1,170%. And that is a closer reflection to what inflation is in the market now. That is that's a big headwind for the market. For the US 2-year to be on this parabolic move, it has a more recency bias because it's only 2-year, not 10-year. And it is just going to the moon, Alice. So US 10-year, this is up almost 4%. And this most negatively impacts NASDAQ. So even though I have back burner setups today for Apple and Amazon, I will be approaching those very cautiously. And if the market in NASDAQ is super heavy, then I'm not going to touch those back burners and I'll wait for a clearer setup, or I'll just top fish in general. The US 10-year is just really on a rampage this morning. VIX potential 4-hour bear flag. And this is the opposite side of the coin. Let's see if this has changed since I typed this. No, still a potential 4-hour bear flag, 25.36. Resistance support 23.85. If this were to continue rolling over to the downside, we could expect a small 4-hour oversold bounce, which would be different ends of the spectrum. The VIX chart has me bullish the market. The US 10-year chart has me bearish the market. And in those cases, I just step back a little bit and say, don't put your foot on the gas so hard if you have conflicting signals. And as always, I will be monitoring my market internals very closely to see who's in charge and who's driving the bus and how fast are they driving it. Bitcoin, that is a potential 4-hour bear flag. On the daily, we have a potential bull flag on Bitcoin and Ethereum. We have potential 4-hour bull flags, but shorter term time frames. Oh, Ethereum looks good on the hourly, and Bitcoin. Again, Ethereum's just a little bit stronger, just a tiny bit stronger than Bitcoin, but that's a messy inverse head and shoulders. So 4-hour could be a bear flag on Bitcoin. I'm not liking that view, but on Ethereum, it's much stronger. So Ethereum could be our canary here. 15-minute, we're losing some steam on Bitcoin. And as always, I'll be watching Bitcoin for any clues that it can offer me for the market. Doesn't mean it will. But if it starts pulling down harder on bear volume, I'll take note of that and be cautious on the market bullishly. Okay, Ethereum. Again, stronger than Bitcoin. Potential hourly bull flag. Potential daily bull flag. 15-minute is losing this uptrend. If this 15-minute lower low doesn't get a lot of follow through, we could have that bull flag on a higher time frame. But the bear volume's picking up here. Yeah, it's picking up on the 5-minute. So cautious on crypto. Gold. Hourly downtrend. We have this hourly downtrend. This was a really tough chart this morning for me. So we have this double top. It's an hourly EQ. However, we lost this little pivot. So it is technically a downtrend. We have not confirmed any type of reversal back to the upside. So we're really just trading sideways on gold. And you can really see that 4-hour 8 EMA suppressing price. Hourly EMA suppressing price. And gold bulls, aggressive gold bulls, very aggressive. Could be looking for a daily higher low. I wouldn't say they've necessarily given themselves enough room for a higher low. But again, if you're aggressive and you want that position, you would be looking for a daily higher low relative to 1895. If it drops below that, you're wrong. Oil. So we had a facility, Saudi Arabia had a facility that got hit overnight by some type of military rebel group. It wasn't a country, I don't think, but either way, it's impacting price. And Saudi Arabia is saying, yes, this is going to affect our oil supply and will impact prices to the upside. So oil is getting a big pop on that Saudi Arabia news. As long as we're holding hourly EMAs, if you're in long, you could stay in long. 15-minute EQ at the moment, support 106.69, 106.50, resistance 108.12 and 108.19. Despite this bullish news, now bullish news can make it rip to higher highs above $130. It could rip it all the way up. So I'm not saying that's not possible, but odds favor a daily lower high. Aggressive bears will be looking to top fish oil when they find that pause. So right now we have a 15-minute EQ, and you could say if this 15-minute EQ resolves to the downside, I'll put my stop above the last 15-minute lower high, for example. Right now, though, the bulls are in charge, so I would be very cautious with any top fish. Sideways consolidation is healthy. Again, we're looking for that daily lower high. So aggressive bears will be scouting a lower high top fish on oil. NG. So Nat Gas, 6-hour EQ, currently hourly downtrend. I go look at my notes because I've had to scour these different time frames looking for what's the, okay, it's breaking bear out of that 6-hour time frame. Because sometimes it's the 3 days, sometimes it's the 4-hour, and I'm constantly searching for clarity. What time frame gives me the most clarity? And it was the 6-hour earlier, and we're breaking bear from that. You have resistance at 4,894 and $5, and your next support is down at 4,777. So remember, we talked about Nat Gas last week about being an inside bar all week long because we had that large range the prior week, and now we're opening up inside that range. So again, I'm expecting that erratic behavior from Nat Gas as long as we're having inside weeks. And then when we break to the upside or to the downside, we would have more volatility and more direction. Right now, sideways is not a direction, and so it's hard for me to trade Nat Gas. Thank you, MG, for answering the questions. I appreciate it. So again, I cannot monitor chat while I'm ripping through these charts, and we have these very generous mods that are in here that will answer whatever questions you have. Why? So what time frame do I choose and why? Again, I'm always looking for clarity. It may be 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly, 4-hour. So I'm always saying, okay, what time frame gives me the clearest setup of, or let's see, how do I say it? The clearest conditions and probabilities. So on Apple and Amazon, I just like to the bullish side. So if we're having a bearish day, I won't be looking at them unless we have a waterfall drop. Then I would be looking at oversold bounce scalps. However, Apple and Amazon have been bull beast, especially Amazon. I'm not stepping in front of that bull train. So for them, if the market were to confirm the 4-hour bull flag, I would be looking at these names bullishly. And 50 RSI has been holding as hourly support. So let's look at the hourly. You see this, it's been holding it since March 15th. Look at all those, just holding it. Any back test of that 50 RSI has been an opportunity to buy. Now, if the bear volume starts stepping up in NASDAQ, then I wouldn't take this trade to the long side. Oh, hey, CJ, you are in a Jeep at the beach in Huntington. Huntington Beach is gorgeous. You are welcome. All right. Amazon, same thing. Hourly 50 RSI has been support. And you see this little alert down here? I am anxiously awaiting an hourly oversold on Amazon so I can buy that dip. The split news, the buyback news, it's just been a bull rager. So I'm looking for a daily higher low, and we can typically scout a daily higher low when hourly gets oversold. Jorge, we could totally rip straight to a monthly higher high. I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm not saying that's not possible on ES, but odds favor some type of EQ. This was a pretty large pullback. And that was a 14% pullback, 15%. So typically, you're not going to go from higher high to lower low straight to a higher high. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. And the size of the pullback gives you those probabilities. So odds favor a lower high. We could absolutely rip to new highs, and that would be beautiful for everyone's 401k and IRA. And let's look at Apple in comparison. It would be wonderful, but I'm not saying it's not possible. So Apple is still in a monthly uptrend. Here, we're still in a monthly uptrend, and we've held that monthly higher low. Okay, BA has that crash news, which is very unfortunate this morning. And I'm looking to short this bounce on the hourly. And I would probably use EMAs as my guide if I don't have a price level. And right now, the price level that I have, 185.27, we have a pre-market high on this bounce of 185.02. Yeah, 185.02 and then 185.27 could be resistances, but you have to wait for this dead cat bounce to resolve itself. And right now, at this point, it's still just a dead cat bounce. They haven't changed a trend on the hourly. On the 15-minute, we have changed the trend, and on the 5-minute. So aggressive bull could be waiting for a 2-minute trend change to the downside to possibly aggressive bear to short. Lockheed Martin, lots of news this morning coming out that Germany plans to spend more money to buy more weapons for Ukraine, and that is bullish for these defensive names like Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. So I am looking bullish on Lockheed Martin, and the plan would be to bottom fish a higher low compared to 42170. A little more bear volume picking up on NASDAQ out the corner of my eye. Okay, NEO. NEO, I judged poorly on Friday. Obviously, it had a big bull pop. I was looking short. I didn't take the trade. It didn't come to me. However, it didn't play out anyway. But on NEO, this is a diamond bearish reversal pattern, and we have a resistance up here of 2184, and we hit 2160 in pre-market. So I like a top fish of NEO, 2160, and then 2184 is the next resistance, and I stop out if I'm wrong. Oxy, I like bullish because of the oil bounce overnight, and it's one of the stronger XLE names. We closed Friday with a daily inside bar. 5820 is your inside bar. Well, 5815 and then 5820 are your resistances. This is Buffett's darling. So that's why I picked it. It's charts stronger than Exxon and stronger than some of the other names. So I like Oxy to the long side on a pullback, bottom fishing, an hourly higher low relative to 5620. Tesla is gapping up this morning. Very bullish behavior. We do have a resistance right overhead at 92643. And I would be looking for a back burner setup on Tesla, buying pullbacks. It's running into the daily 50 EMA. It's extended up here for me. It's extended, but it doesn't mean I would just jump in short. I'd have to have evidence of bear volume entering the chart and be butted up against this level of 92643. That way I stop out quickly if I'm wrong on a top fish, but I prefer to play it to the long side on back burners. UAVS, a drone name, high risk. On UAVS is close to potential weekly trend change, high risk, would watch for back burner trades. So this name, you could look for a potential hourly higher low relative to $1.09. It gets the weekly trend change above $1.23. Again, 80 EMA on the weekly has been suppressing price. It looks like we have earnings coming up next week. That's not confirmed though, so I would check on that if you wanted to swing this. I would definitely make sure to know where earnings is. So you have a trend change over $1.23 and $1.09 is the key support on the hourly, and you could look for back burner setups. And finally, this is my favorite of the day, XLF top fish. So US 10-year rising is good for XLF. That's the only fly in the ointment on this Queen of the Mountain trade setup. However, we're looking for a weekly higher low. We're running into the daily 50 EMA, and we've got a super clear resistance of 39.20. That's why I like it. The daily 50 EMA overhead, and we hit 39.10 Friday, and we have resistance of 39.20. So I like this top fish on XLF. It may not work because the US 10-year is so strong, but I think I will give it a shot if I can see some bear volume and 2 or 5 minute trend change to the downside during regular trading hours. Yeah, if you could hit that like button, I'd appreciate it a lot. That would be wonderful. Okay, I'm going to now take your request. Dan will be live in the room in 10 minutes, you TCGers. Steven, that's funny. Jay Stevens. You can't buy puts on BA in the market. The only way you can short it is to short common shares on Boeing. Options are not available, and after hours, they are available to sell and buy on indices for the 15 minutes after the market closes on names like SPY or QQQ, but otherwise options are not available to trade during pre-market hours. Oh, you know what? I had a request this weekend that said, Lori, could you tell us your option strategy? So usually on XLF, I just do FAZ. I don't like to short it with options. But Boeing, for example, if I were going to short Boeing, I would look at 185 puts. Let me write that out. 185 puts. So I like to be in the money or at the money when I'm choosing my strikes and expiry. So if I'm day trading Boeing to the short side, I'm looking for this Friday's expiration. I'm looking for a strike that's either one in the money or at the money. So on Boeing, it would be 185. If we were to open right here at 183.50, I would look at the 185 puts. And as always, I put my order in as a limit order. Never, never, never mark it unless it's Apple or SPY or QQQ. Those three are super liquid and you have a penny spread. Otherwise, you get hosed when you hit market on options, in my opinion. So that's what I would be looking at to short. Boeing today is 185 puts, but I need confirmation of this reversal happening back to the downside and this bounce running out of steam. MULN is a runner. The EV name from what I understand. 373 is the resistance, and we haven't gotten over it in pre-market. This is a conflicting setup for me. The bulls are totally in charge of this name, but bears are waiting to pile into this name. This 373 is so obvious. It is a Mars level right there, 373, and bears are going to be waiting right there. Doesn't mean the bulls can't plow them over, but bears will be looking to top fish this name. It is a major bull. It's had 3 major bull days in a row. And it looks like, are we gapping up? Yep, we're gapping up above Friday's action. So a gap is typically for selling. So I would be careful long. And if you're in long and you held it from Friday, just keep moving your stop up. AMD. Francisco, you really want AMD, don't you? Potential daily little bull flag. It's green this morning. You have support at 109.71. I wouldn't trust this 112. It didn't happen on a lot of volume, so I wouldn't trust that as a support. Your key hourly support is 111.59. 111.59. And they need to get over Friday's high to confirm this trend change to the upside. Right now, this hourly chart has not gotten a trend change. We need to get over 115 to confirm it. Hi, how are you? You're welcome, LAP to win. You are absolutely welcome. All right, that's it for me. Y'all use stop losses. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Join me tomorrow for another pregame show. TCGers, I will give you the notes in the room in just a second. Give me a hot second to copy, paste, and post. And moderators, I really appreciate you. I don't say it enough. I really appreciate all your efforts to answer questions in the YouTube chat room. All right, see y'all later.